When I was a student, I was fairly typical as a student. I wanted to spend the summer basically rock climbing and smoking weed. And I discovered that the university gave grants to people who did sort of righteous academic work over the summer. Um, some of the best climbing that I certainly wanted to do at the time was in the Dordogne and the Pyrenees. And me and a friend, we cast around and we discovered that those were where there were a number of prehistoric caves with prehistoric cave art. And we thought, hey ho, we'll get a grant to study prehistoric caves and spend the summer climbing this. How good can it get? Which we did. We got a grant and we went down there, and it was very interesting because the thing with prehistoric caves is they're not pictures on rock. What I saw there fundamentally changed my life, because you are looking at images and ideas which they kind of speak to you. You see herds of animals which under candlelight are moving. You got handprints, and there was a particular moment in one cave where there was a flint, hand carved flint that had obviously been used for carvings, that someone had stuck in the wall of the cave in a particularly kind of soft bit of mud, and the mud had turned to stone over the 12,000 or so years. And there's this kind of flint there, and it was this very strange feeling of this is like a person has put this here. And I met with a famous French academic in caves who said to me that understanding cave art was the equivalent of trying to interpret the Catechism of the Catholic Church from the floor plan of the Vatican, which was kind of depressing actually at the time. And I thought this is actually not helpful, because I felt this very strong kind of magical feeling actually. And then by some strange chance, I was given, my wife gave me, my girlfriend at the time, my wife gave me a book called the Myth of the Goddess by two Jungian analysts called Jules Cashford and Anne Baring. And this book provided a lens to not really understand cave art in the sense of I understand it and it is done, but understand it in the sense of locating myself in that sort of space, wondering what was being communicated to me, trying to make sense of what I felt about it. And that was a Jungian book, and they talked about the collective unconscious, and they talked about archetypes. And in reading that, I was able to get a sense that the cave paintings were talking to me in a way. Somebody 12,000 years ago was communicating something through the wall of the cave to me. Now, I don't know exactly what that is. It would be delusional to imagine that I did, but there are kind of images and themes and ideas which were in some way being transmitted. And that got me very interested in the idea of the collective unconscious, and you mentioned earlier when we were chatting the cultural unconscious. Why do our cultures do what they do? And when you start to look at things from a Jungian lens, what you realize is that your ancestors, from literally your parents down to you 12,000 100,000 years ago, are talking to you. They're passing ideas to you. They're passing symbols to you that exist in the day-to-day world around you, that shape how you think and how you are. So for what Jung offered for me was the ability to kind of make sense of a symbolic, kind of complex, changing, dynamic world, that gave me a little bit more information about what was going on than just the rational.